Welcome back everyone to another exciting deep dive into the fascinating world of rare and valuable coins, where ordinary pocket change can turn into extraordinary treasures worth millions. And today we are exploring one of the most astonishing discoveries in American coinage history, the 1980 P Washington quarter that has stunned the numismatic community with its incredible and mysterious errors, pushing its estimated worth to an unbelievable $54 million. A value that seems unimaginable for a coin minted for only 25 cents, but when you start peeling back the layers of its history, its minting anomalies, and the possibilities behind its unique mistakes, the story unfolds like a numismatic thriller that captures collectors' imaginations across the globe. So get ready to be amazed as we explore why this 1980 P quarter has become the talk of treasure hunters, coin enthusiasts, and historians alike, all eager to uncover how this tiny piece of metal came to represent a fortune that could change someone's life forever, because hidden in its small frame are clues, mysteries, and minting secrets that tell a story of imperfection, rarity, and the unpredictable beauty of error coins that turn mistakes into masterpieces. Now, the 1980 P quarter might look like any other Washington quarter at first glance, featuring the familiar portrait of George Washington designed by John Flanagan on the obverse, the word liberty, boldly above his head, the motto, "In God We Trust," to the left, and the date 1980 below, with the P mint mark identifying the Philadelphia Mint. But those who take a closer look find something extraordinary happening on the surface, beneath the luster and wear, in the tiniest details of the strike, planchet, and die. The 1980 P quarter is a product of a transitional era in U.S. coin production when the mint was modernizing equipment, adjusting metal compositions, and dealing with quality control challenges that occasionally resulted in some of the most fascinating mint errors known today. Among these, the $54 million specimen stands out because it combines multiple rare errors that rarely ever occur together on a single coin, making it a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. The first major error identified on this coin is a double strike with off-center misalignment. On the obverse, Washington's profile shows faint shadowing, an overlapping outline of his nose, chin, and jawline, a sign that the coin was struck more than once but slightly shifted each time, creating a haunting 3D effect visible even without magnification. This double strike wasn't just a minor misalignment. It revealed a second impression rotated about 15 degrees clockwise, a near-perfect example of what collectors call a rotated die double strike, which in itself would make a coin rare and valuable. But here it's just the beginning. On the reverse, the eagle's wings appear uneven, the right wing higher and thicker, with doubled lettering in United States of America and E pluribus unum, while the denomination $quarter looks slightly warped with ghost-like shadows around the letters, another sign of an imperfect die strike. These overlapping errors give the coin an almost holographic look under light, and the subtle doubling can be verified under magnification, proving it's not machine doubling but true hub doubling, the kind of minting anomaly collectors dream about. But that's only one layer of mystery, because the second major error that drives its insane valuation is a rare off-metal strike. Metallurgical analysis revealed that the planchet used wasn't the typical cupronickel-clad copper composition expected of quarters minted in 1980, but a transitional planchet made of 40% silver, the kind of metal last used in circulating quarters in 1964. How could a 1980 P coin be struck on leftover silver stock 16 years after the mint had transitioned completely to clad composition? Theories abound among experts. Some suggest it might have been an experimental test piece struck accidentally on an old silver planchet that remained in the hopper or was mixed during production testing, while others propose that a mint employee may have intentionally fed an older silver blank into the press out of curiosity or error. Either way, a silver composition quarter from 1980 is unheard of in official mint records, making this coin one of the only known examples and instantly elevating its rarity to the highest tier imaginable. Combined with its double strike, this coin becomes an anomaly so spectacular that it challenges the known production history of the Philadelphia Mint itself. But there's more. When viewed under specialized lighting, the coin exhibits areas of die clash, marks left behind when two dies struck each other without a planchette between them, transferring faint parts of the reverse design onto the obverse die and vice versa. On this particular quarter, faint impressions of the eagle's wings can be seen near Washington's neck and lower hairline, suggesting that the dies clashed and then continued to strike coins before being replaced. That alone would make it a prized mint error, but in combination with a silver planchette and double strike, it becomes almost mythical. Some experts have also identified an unusual reading pattern along the coin's edge, with partially missing reeds and an uneven circumference suggesting that the collar die may have been damaged or misaligned during striking. This means that the planchette may have moved slightly during the strike, allowing for incomplete edge formation, a detail that adds to its character and confirms the chaotic conditions under which it was minted. Every microscopic detail on this coin tells a story. The hairline cracks on Washington's bust, the faint die polish lines around the P mint mark, and even the slight over-polishing of the reverse field, all point to a rushed or malfunctioning minting process, likely during a time of machine maintenance or test production, meaning this coin slipped through quality control at a rare moment when precision faltered. That moment, frozen in metal, is what makes this coin priceless to collectors who value authenticity and historical imperfection. But what truly catapulted this 1980p quarter into legend was its discovery story, which reads like something out of a modern-day treasure hunt. According to reports, the coin was found in a small bag of mixed change purchased from a yard sale in Pennsylvania in the late 1990s. The person who found it initially noticed its unusual weight. It felt slightly heavier than a regular quarter, and its brighter, more silvery tone, which led them to suspect something odd. After sending it to a local coin shop for appraisal, it was quickly identified as an anomaly and later submitted to a professional grading service where it underwent metallurgical testing that confirmed the unexpected silver content. Once news spread about the off-metal composition, collectors and auction houses went into a frenzy, speculating how such a coin could exist. Some said it was a one-off test strike, others suspected an intentional mint escape, a coin produced unofficially by someone at the mint who realized its uniqueness. Regardless of its origin, it became a numismatic celebrity, selling at private auction for an astonishing $54 million, shattering all previous records for any Washington quarter and placing it among the most expensive coins ever sold in history, rivaling even gold and early US proof rarities. But beyond its price tag, what makes it so captivating is how it represents a perfect storm of minting anomalies: double strike, die clash, misalignment, off-metal planchette, and edge irregularities, all rolled into one small coin. It's the kind of numismatic miracle that seems impossible but somehow exists, challenging our understanding of the minting process and reminding collectors that errors can turn an ordinary object into a priceless artifact. Every numismatist dreams of discovering such a coin, one that defies logic and expectation, and the 1980p quarter serves as a symbol of that dream. It shows that even in a modern minting era where precision is standard and mistakes are rare, accidents can still happen, and those accidents can become national treasures. The coin's surface tells a deeper story about the history of U.S. mint operations during the late 20th century, when new machinery, press calibration, and changing standards created opportunities for small errors that would one day become legendary. This 1980p era coin is a perfect snapshot of that era's experimental and transitional spirit. Many collectors today obsess over identifying even minor doubling or misstrikes on modern coins, but this one transcends all categories. The faint doubling on the letters Liberty and In God We Trust, the ghostly shadow under Washington's chin, and the reverse's slightly flattened lettering at the top rim are all authentic signs of a complex striking error. Under microscope analysis, Next, 1983p $quarter coin. Where small pieces of everyday pocket change can hide unbelievable fortunes and life-changing treasures, and today's story is one that has captivated collectors and treasure hunters all over the world, because we are talking about the astonishing 1983p Washington quarter that has stunned experts and the entire numismatic community by reaching a mind-blowing value of $50 million due to its unbelievable minting errors and mysterious origin, which make it one of the most valuable modern era coins ever discovered and one of the most intriguing in American coinage history. So sit back as we unravel the story behind this extraordinary coin, its strange errors, its possible minting anomalies, and the theories that try to explain how such a remarkable mistake could have slipped through the tightly controlled processes of the United States Mint, because what you are about to hear is a perfect blend of history, mystery, and pure luck wrapped into one tiny piece of metal that started as an ordinary 25-cent piece but ended up being worth a fortune that could buy mansions, sports cars, or even a small island. So let's dive deep into how the 1983p quarter became one of the most famous numismatic legends ever told. At first glance, the 1983p quarter looks just like any other Washington quarter minted in Philadelphia that year, showing George Washington's proud profile on the obverse designed by John Flanagan, with the word Liberty boldly above, the motto "I in God we trust" to the left, the date 1983 below, and the mint mark P beside the portrait, while the reverse features the majestic eagle with spread wings, perched on arrows and an olive branch, encircled by United States of America and the denomination $quarter. But the moment collectors placed this specific 1983p quarter under magnification, it revealed details so unusual, so complex, and so layered in error that no one could believe it actually came out of the mint legitimately. The first and most immediately noticeable anomaly on this legendary coin is its striking error known as a double die obverse combined with partial off-center misalignment. The entire portrait of Washington appears slightly doubled with a ghost-like shadow on his profile, a distinct doubling that extends across his nose, mouth, and chin, while the word Liberty shows clear secondary impressions, particularly at the tops of the letters B and E, creating that unmistakable effect that collectors know can turn an ordinary coin into a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. The motto "I in God we trust" also exhibits doubling, with the letters N, G, and T appearing slightly spread apart under magnification, confirming this is a true hub doubling, not machine doubling, which is far more valuable and significantly rarer. But the double die anomaly doesn't stop there, because the reverse of this coin also displays hints of doubling on the eagle's wings and claws, particularly around the feathers and arrows, suggesting that the dies used to strike this coin were slightly misaligned or perhaps even reused or repolished between strikes, something that was not uncommon during the early 1980s when the mint was under pressure to produce massive quantities of quarters for circulation after the economic shifts of the late 1970s. However, what takes this coin from rare to nearly mythical is the shocking discovery that it was not struck on the typical copper-nickel-clad planchette used for 1983 quarters, but instead on a completely different metal composition. Tests have shown that this 1983p quarter was accidentally struck on a solid 90% silver planchette, a leftover from the pre-1965 era, or possibly from a special test strike or commemorative issue that somehow ended up in the presses intended for circulation strikes. The presence of silver in a 1983 quarter is almost impossible, since the US Mint officially stopped using silver for circulating quarters nearly 2 decades earlier, and by that time, all silver blanks were meant for collector or proof coins only, not circulation strikes. The fact that a silver planchette made it into a 1983 production batch at the Philadelphia Mint makes this coin one of the rarest off-metal strikes ever documented. But what's even more astonishing is that metallurgical testing indicated trace elements of other metals not typical of any known US Mint planchette, suggesting the possibility that this coin may have been struck on an experimental or foreign blank, maybe even one used for a different denomination or a different country's coin entirely. opening up a realm of speculation about how it came to be. Some experts theorize that during the mint's experimentation phase in the early 1980s with different metal alloys to test long-term durability and anti-corrosion properties, a few prototype planchets were accidentally mixed into the standard clad batch and escaped quality control. If that's true, then this 1983 P quarter may be one of only a handful of such test strikes that accidentally entered circulation, and this one survived long enough to be discovered decades later in astonishingly well-preserved condition. The second major error that adds to its mystique is a die clash, an imprint left when the obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a planchette between them, transferring faint impressions of the reverse design onto the obverse die and vice versa. On this 1983 P quarter, under certain lighting angles, faint traces of the eagle's wing feathers can be seen on Washington's neck and jawline, and a faint outline of Washington's profile is visible on the reverse field near the eagle's legs. Die clashes are already rare, but one combined with an off-metal strike and double die features is practically unheard of. Additionally, there is a noticeable lamination error near the rim on the obverse side, tiny flakes of metal peeling away from the surface, which usually indicates impurities or inconsistencies in the metal composition of the planchette. On a silver-based coin, that suggests either experimental alloying or a contamination event during production, making it even more intriguing. To make matters more unusual, the edge reading is incomplete, with several sections of missing reeds and irregular spacing, suggesting that the collar die used to form the edge was either worn, damaged, or misaligned during striking. All these small imperfections combine to form a perfect storm of minting chaos, a coin that should never have existed, but somehow did. Collectors have examined every aspect of this coin, from its slightly heavier weight to its distinctive sound when dropped, a high-pitched ring like older silver coins rather than the duller tone of modern clad quarters. When it was finally authenticated by professional grading experts, it received a special designation recognizing its unique combination of errors, effectively making it a one-of-one coin in existence. But beyond its physical traits, the story of how it was discovered adds another layer of fascination. This legendary 1983 P quarter reportedly turned up in a small collection purchased at an estate sale in Florida, mixed in a bag of old coins that had been sitting untouched for decades. The person who bought it initially didn't realize its value until they noticed its strange shine and weight compared to other quarters. Thinking it might be silver, they took it to a local coin shop, where the shop owner's reaction said it all: this was no ordinary coin. After testing, verification, and grading, the news spread like wildfire through numismatic circles, with experts debating how such an extraordinary coin could exist in the first place. Was it a mint test strike, an employee experiment, or a freak accident during production? No one can say for certain, and that mystery only increases its allure. When it eventually hit the private auction market, bidding wars broke out among collectors and investors alike, driving the final sale price to a staggering $50 million, an amount that shocked even seasoned coin dealers and set a new benchmark for modern US coin values. What's fascinating is how this one coin perfectly captures the unpredictability of minting errors and how they can transform something mundane into something monumental. Each anomaly on the coin tells part of a story: the double die showing human or mechanical imperfection, the off-metal strike revealing historical crossover between minting eras, the die clash symbolizing production chaos, and the lamination flaw hinting at experimental metallurgy, all of which combine into one miraculous artifact that embodies the unexpected beauty of era coins. Some numismatists even argue that this coin challenges our understanding of minting history. Last 1988 P $quarter coin, where we dive deep into the fascinating world of rare and valuable coins that have stunned collectors, historians, and treasure hunters alike, and today we are going to explore one of the most mysterious, intriguing, and astonishing discoveries in modern numismatic history, the 1988 P Washington quarter that is rumored to be worth a jaw-dropping $40 million due to a combination of incredible minting errors, rare metallurgical mistakes, and historical anomalies that make it one of the most unique coins ever produced by the United States Mint. So if you've ever wondered how an ordinary quarter could transform from just 25 cents into a multi-million-dollar treasure capable of changing someone's life forever, this story will not only shock you but also inspire you to look a little more closely at your change, because the secrets of unimaginable fortune might be hiding right in your hands. Now, the 1988 P Washington quarter looks at first glance like any other regular coin from that year, featuring the timeless design by John Flanagan showing George Washington's bust on the obverse with the word Liberty above his head, the motto "I and God We Trust" to his left, and the year 1988 below his chin with a P mint mark from the Philadelphia Mint, while the reverse carries the traditional heraldic eagle design clutching arrows and olive branches under the inscriptions United States of America and quarter dollar. But beneath that familiar design lies a series of minting mistakes so strange, so unlikely, and so layered in error that even experts were left speechless when this coin was examined under advanced microscopes and composition scanners. The first clue that this 1988 P quarter was anything but ordinary came from its composition. Numismatic experts discovered through metallurgical analysis that this coin wasn't made from the standard copper-nickel clad composition used in all quarters since 1965, but rather from an entirely different alloy that contained traces of silver and manganese, suggesting that this coin was struck on an experimental or foreign planchet, possibly a leftover from a different coinage project. It was slightly heavier than normal, weighing in at approximately 6.25 grams instead of the standard 5.67 grams, a weight difference that instantly drew attention because it indicated that the planchet was made of a denser metal, and that discovery alone already made it a candidate for one of the rarest modern era coins ever. However, that was only the beginning of the mystery, because once the coin was studied in more detail, experts noticed a dramatic double-die error on the obverse side. George Washington's profile appeared doubled, his chin and jawline showing a faint ghost-like outline offset slightly to the southeast, while the letters in Liberty had a strong and clear doubling especially visible on the B and E, creating a visual distortion that could be seen even without magnification under good light. The motto "I and God We Trust" also exhibited a similar doubling effect, particularly around the letters N and T, confirming that this was a true hub doubling and not mere mechanical doubling. Double die errors occur when the working die receives two impressions from the hub that are not perfectly aligned, creating a slightly duplicated image, and in this case, it is unusually strong, making this 1988 P quarter an instant numismatic marvel. The reverse, too, carried its own bizarre set of errors. The eagle's feathers appeared to have tripled outlines, the claws clutching the arrows showed irregular thickness, and parts of the lettering in United States of America seemed distorted, with doubling and uneven spacing that suggested the die may have been damaged or improperly re-engraved during minting. As if that weren't enough, this particular coin also exhibited a striking error known as an off-center misalignment, meaning the design was not perfectly centered on the planchet. The rim on the left side was unusually thick, while the opposite edge appeared thinner, with some design elements of the eagle nearly touching the rim. This kind of off-center strike usually results when the planchet shifts slightly between strikes, and it's extremely rare for it to happen in combination with double die and off-metal errors. The collector who first discovered this incredible 1988 P quarter reportedly noticed its bright silver-like shine and unusual ring when dropped on a hard surface. It had that distinct high-pitched tone that's typical of older silver coins, not the duller sound of copper-nickel-clad coins. This led them to suspect something was off, so they brought it to a local coin dealer, who immediately recognized that it could be something extraordinary. The dealer then sent it to a professional grading service where it underwent a full suite of tests, including X-ray fluorescence analysis to determine the exact metal content, and the results confirmed what no one thought possible. a modern 1988 quarter struck on an experimental silver-manganese alloy planchette with multiple die errors and misalignments. This alone would make it worth tens of thousands of dollars, but the story took an even more surprising turn when additional microscopic analysis revealed traces of die clash marks on the obverse. The faint outline of the eagle's wings and arrows could be seen behind Washington's neck and here, a clear sign that the obverse and reverse dies had struck each other directly at some point during production without a planchette between them, leaving mutual impressions on each die that were then transferred onto subsequent coins. This combination of double die, off-metal strike, off-center misalignment, and die clash has never before been documented on a single 1988 P quarter, making this coin truly one of a kind. But that's not all. When examined under 40x magnification, small die cracks could be seen extending from Washington's neck toward the rim, as well as across the top of the word Liberty. Die cracks occur when the die starts to fracture due to stress from repeated use, and while they're not rare individually, in this case, their presence adds another fascinating layer of imperfection that increases its desirability among collectors who prize the unique and unrepeatable patterns that only true mint errors can create. Additionally, experts found microscopic evidence of repunched mint marks, meaning the P on the obverse had been struck twice, slightly offset, which is another highly collectible anomaly that adds to the coin's value. These overlapping and compounding minting errors, off-metal composition, double die obverse, misaligned strike, die clash, die cracks, and repunched mint mark, create what can only be described as a numismatic masterpiece of chaos, a coin that should never have left the mint yet somehow did. How such a coin managed to escape quality control at the Philadelphia Mint remains one of the great mysteries in modern coinage history. Some experts believe it may have been struck during a period of machine calibration when test planches of different metals were accidentally fed into the presses, while others suggest that it could have been part of a secret experimental batch created to test new metallic compositions for future coins, particularly since the mint was exploring different alloys in the late 1980s for possible long-term durability improvements. The fact that this coin has surfaced at all suggests that it slipped through unnoticed, perhaps mixed in with a batch of regular quarters before being released into circulation. What makes this even more interesting is the timing. 1988 was a transitional year for US mint production, with significant updates to equipment and processes taking place at the Philadelphia facility, so it's not impossible that experimental errors like this could have occurred during those upgrades. The 1988 P quarter, valued at $40 million, was eventually authenticated by one of the top grading companies and encapsulated as a unique off-metal multi-error strike, effectively making it one of one, and collectors across the world immediately recognized its significance. When it was offered in a private auction, bidding quickly skyrocketed, with top investors and institutions competing to own what many now consider one of the rarest modern coins in existence. It finally sold for an incredible $40 million, cementing its place in the pantheon of legendary US mint errors. Beyond its astronomical price, though, this coin has become a symbol of how imperfection can create immense beauty and value, proving once again that mistakes at the mint can turn ordinary coins into priceless treasures. Its story also reignited public interest in searching through pocket change, with thousands of hobbyists and casual collectors checking their coins in hopes of finding something similar. Every detail of this coin continues to fascinate experts.